Accidentally in Love. Chapter 3. Soulmates. Summary. Kusuo pokes at his feelings with a 10-foot pole. Ayura roasts him, as she should. Nothing changes. The Earth's core doesn't implode and scatter the Earth into a million billion pieces across the cosmos. Neither does the atmosphere turn inside out and suck Kusuo into black, empty void of distant space. The next day comes just like any other, and he falls right back into his weekday routine. Nothing changes. But some things do. Like adjusting to a new glasses prescription. Kusuo views his world through different lenses. Life has operated under the assumption his interests were the only ones Life has operated under the assumption that his interests were the only ones worth preserving. Now his focus is on preserving the status quo. These feelings of his are an issue he needs to quell. He approaches the school building with extra caution. His thoughts are in such disarray, even someone as oblivious as Nendo could pick up on his distress. No one can even acknowledge him until he takes his seat. He waits until just before the bell rings to step into class, with everyone already shifting their focus towards the start of the day's lesson. No one pays him any mind. Fuck. He's so screwed. If not for his powers, Kusuo doubts he could follow his teacher's instructions. His mind is scrambled, having been trying to come up with a solution since he left Sato after lunch. These feelings of his are a disease. If he lets them spread further, they will infect every part of his life. He cannot give in to them. But they won't leave. He can't brainwash himself, and suppressing them is taking longer than he thought. The next course of action would then be to wipe Sato of his feelings, but Kusuo just can't figure out a way to do it. Time travel won't work, since he doesn't know the exact moment Sato fell in love with him. He would have to go back and chance every one of their interactions. However, chances that Sato revealed his emotions for Kusuo chances are that Sato realized his feelings for Kusuo when he wasn't close enough for Kusuo to read his thoughts. Worse, Sato only truly realized his feelings after Kusuo's eliminated discrimination based on sexual orientation. If true, Kusuo could easily undo his actions and spare himself, but at too great a cost. He can already tell from Kaido and Kobayasu's thoughts that they've finally worked out their feelings. Kusuo won't hurt them for his own sake. That leaves Ray watching Sato himself. With a single swipe of his banana-shaped object, Kusuo can write himself out of Sato's life and Sato out of his. Those feelings will be directed elsewhere, hopefully towards someone who is more willing to accept them. It is the perfect solution, and yet Kusuo hones in on Ayura's thoughts drifting behind him. She's thinking about the usual things. Fortunes, Kusuo, Chiyo seems bummed for some reason. But more importantly, she seems to be free after school. Good grief. Is he really willing to stoop this low? When lunch comes and Kusuo maneuvers away from the coffee jelly display, he finds he is very willing. I need your help with something. Across the room, Ayura glances around until she finds him. You need my help? And you're admitting it? Damn, it must be serious. I can't admit when I need help. No, you can't. Now you got me all curious. Tell me what's up. Not now. Boo. After class. Don't let Teruhashi catch you with me. She has let up on Kusuo recently, but has yet to give up entirely. The last thing he needs is more people becoming involved. Have it your way. Probably not that big of a deal, I bet. What do you mean? Kusuo slaps a piece of paper over Ayura's face, making it stick until she stops trying to pry it off herself. They're loitering in one of the upper classrooms away from all the clubs currently meeting. Rude! Don't draw attention to this. You're going to help me get rid of these feelings, and we're both going to move on, like nothing happened. Something already happened. You fell in love with someone that wasn't me. We're supposed to be soulmates. Ayura goes to wipe at her crocodile tears. Though, I guess I guess soulmates can be platonic. But was it too much to ask for you to sweep me off my feet? Yes. Now focus. Tell me how to get rid of my romantic feelings. Ira scoffs. Easy. Confess. Getting rejected is the fastest way to move on and come crawling back to me. She winks. That won't work. The feelings are reciprocated. What? The paper once again covers her face. Kusuo lets it stay there for over a minute this time. Ira straightens her hair, scowling. I can't believe you. Someone likes you and you won't go for it. No, actually, I can. That's like your whole thing. But it's different this time. Who even is it? I'm not telling you that. How am I supposed to help if I don't know the person? Sato Hiroshi. Come on, I'm serious. So am I. That's his name. Ira blinks. You're kidding me? Okay, what's he like? Completely normal. Everything about him is the exact national average. He is unremarkable in every way, and he draws little to no attention to himself. She crosses her arms, scowl deepening. That just sounds like stuff you're jealous of. What about him do you like beyond that? Kusuo thinks for a moment, not because the answer is difficult. Once he admits his reasons to someone else, his feelings will only become more real. But if this is the only way, he's kind, considerate, minds his own business. Everything he does is genuine despite how gimmicky his character sounds. And I can't think of another reason. I just do. That's what's so wrong about all of this. This answer garners much more approval with Ira, who replaces her frown with a trademark smirk. Aw, what's wrong? Never just like someone 'cause? Never. You're joking. Kusuo stumbles as if struck. He's had far worse said to him, and yet the sting of her words linger. I have never felt this way about someone, romantically. I was certain that was just part of who I am, and I didn't feel any particular way about it. But now I've caught feelings for him, and everything, not just me, is in jeopardy. Ira drops her grin, mulling over his words. Annoyance shifts to guilt, and quickly she puts on a kinder smile. Alright, I get it. No need to be so dramatic. Which is her way of saying, I'm sorry. Maybe you can explain what you mean by everything is in jeopardy, so I can help you. It's a conversation Kusuo needs to have sitting down. He swivels 2 chairs over for them, and over the course of 10 or so minutes, describes all his fears in painful detail. Ira, to her credit, makes very few comments throughout. She's a good enough friend to recognize when to close her big mouth. That doesn't stop her thoughts, of course. Issue 1 is a relationship. Kusuo knows he is inherently a selfish person. He's not sure he can make his life big enough for 2, if he even wants to. Ira thinks he absolutely does and can't admit it out loud. The point is, a romantic relationship with Sato may end badly, thus ruining any chance of continuing friendship. Kusuo can admit, easily now, that he wants Sato in his life in some way, shape, or form. Issue 2 is his psychic powers. If Kusuo commits to a relationship, it will be impossible to keep his powers under wraps. Now is not the time to be planning living arrangements beyond high school, but anyone who has spent too much time in Kusuo's life eventually learns the truth. They are a part of him, regardless of how hard he tries to hide them, and they are a part of his loved ones as well. Kusuo isn't sure how Sato would take the news, and he certainly doesn't want Sato's opinions of him to change much either. Ira thinks he'll be more upset by Kusuo stalking him. She isn't wrong. Issue 3 is the most pressing of all, the attention. Kusuo has already established a pattern of those close to him finding out about his psychic powers. It may have taken Akeiichi over a decade to wring the truth out of him, but he forces himself to admit it. Friends will find out in their own time, whether by accident or by Kusuo telling them himself, though the former is much more likely. Even with a year until they all graduate, Kusuo doesn't want to transfer again. This is much harder to confess, likes his friends, and he doesn't want to leave them. Sato Sato complicates his efforts to blend in, though his normalness will hide Kusuo's weirdness. Kusuo's reputation will be the one to put him under. The guy who goes above and beyond to avoid attention suddenly has a boyfriend. People will start asking questions, rumors will spread, and loose lips will sink ships. Kusuo thinks Sato can be trusted with a secret, but Kusuo is distrustful to a fault, so he actually doesn't. Your biggest issue is trust. I can already tell that's going to be the reason you two break up. That or communication. Not helping. That, just being honest. But yeah, I get it. There's a lot more at stake here than I realized. Though I do think you're getting a bit ahead of yourself. Just because X or Y could happen doesn't mean Z will. And you already know you can trust people. You told me. You don't count. Or Toritsuka. He doesn't count for anything. But Kechi does. I had no choice. I couldn't outsmart him. Ira huffs. Why does it matter so much to you? Everyone knows about my powers, but it doesn't mean I gotta skip town if I read someone's fortune. Mine can melt the polar ice caps. It's not the same, and they're my powers. I get to do with them what I will, and tell who I want about them. Didn't you see how differently people treated you when you revealed yourself? I don't want that. Her thoughts are split between chewing Kusuo out and agreeing with him. I guess it's something we'll never see eye to eye on. But don't go on saying it's not the same. Start thinking that way. And you'll start to feel like you can't depend on me. And you know you need me. We're soulmates after all. She gives him another wink. No harm done, but a line has been crossed. So, how are you gonna confess? You haven't been listening at all. I have! And I think the best thing for you to do is just go for it. No, I have to get rid of my romantic feelings. It's the only way. It isn't, but it is the only way to handle issue number 4, himself. Kusuo isn't selfless enough to share his life. He isn't brave enough to admit his feelings unless under duress. He isn't strong enough to open his heart for Sato, knowing it will be broken in the end. Saiki Kusuo has to do what he does best and save himself. You better not talk to him like an absolute lunatic, too. I don't. I actually speak to him. It's exhausting. Ara cups her cheeks in awe, her manicure nails pointing at the ceiling. Oh my god, you were in so deep. You actually talk to him. Enough. How do I get rid of him? How do I get over him? I think it's too late for that. Don't go ignoring how you feel, or else it's just going to make things worse. If you're really that scared, just wait. Hang out with him like you don't know he likes you back. Be his friend before you try and be someone you're not ready to be. And who knows, maybe those feelings of yours will go away, but you have to wait it out and see. It's good advice, and Kusuo has no choice but to take it. That or keep traveling back in time for a fruitless endeavor. You may have a point. Ara flips her hair behind her shoulders and stands out of her chair. I always do. If you want, I can just tell you how things play out. Kusuo rises with her. No, let me try first. You sure? No, but I want to be. She shakes her head. What an idiot. But you're my idiot, sucker. Or am I the sucker? We're both suckers, apparently. Haha! Question is, who's worse? Don't answer that. Now, walk me home, soulmate. I need to mourn my unrequited love. Ira drapes a hand over her forehead, feigning a sadness Kusuo knows she's trying to hide. He walks her home without any complaints, grateful for the company he still gets to keep.